Yes, hello again, everybody. Just another beautiful, perfect day to be in this beautiful, perfect way of God. And we're out here in the West Coast, in the Western United States. We're enjoying it's the most wonderful time of the year, isn't it? With these special beating rounds where we dress up this corpse of our church with these meetings with a few more workers that everybody's seen and heard, and we act like it's something amazing and special. And so we're just so thankful for this sweet fellowship and sitting in these special beatings. And one of the things that's just been so helpful to hear that I've just been feeding on like fresh roadkill is this idea of so many workers just talking about how you can't trust human reasoning, can you? No, and we see that so often now. We're so saddened to see all of these people who are losing out and falling away and leaving behind their first love. And they talk about, oh, a book they read or a website they've been on or a TED Talk or a YouTube video. That's why they doubt the workers and have betrayed God. And over and over, no matter what reason they give, it's all the same, isn't it? It's just they're trusting human reasoning. They've lost their faith and they're not obeying the workers. And so I thought I'd just talk a little bit about that, just the danger and folly of human reasoning or trusting in human reasoning. And I just thought maybe I could lay out a very clear case with some supporting evidence that would show you that you can't trust human reasoning and it's just not logical. And so I think of one of the most famous stories in history was my first point of evidence of the Titanic, that White Star Line on its maiden voyage, sailing from England to the United States, and it hit a iceberg and sank. And the captain was warned over and over, we know that you're running this ship too hard, too fast, you don't have enough lifeboats, it's gonna sink, lives will be lost. And he didn't listen. He said, this ship is unsinkable. He trusted in his human reasoning, didn't he? And we know what happened. And we can just think as Rose was laying there on that board and watching poor Jack Dawson just succumbing to hypothermia and breathing his last, that that's where heart that's sorry where human reasoning leads you, even though her heart would go on, that human reasoning leads to that kind of death. And another story I think of often is the story of the People's Temple and the cult that Jim Jones started. And they moved to Guyana and they trusted this man. They believed in him. He was crazy, but for some reason they just ignored everything around them, what everyone else was trying to tell them. And instead, they relied on their human reasoning, didn't they? They relied on their human reasoning that said, we can trust this man, we can believe this man. And they all drank that poison Kool-Aid and died. And so we're so thankful we don't rely on human reasoning of that kind, just blind faith in the workers, that we don't drink Kool-Aid. No, we actually just kind of freebase the powder straight out of the packet. And that's how we like to do it. And so but we see it all over in the world, don't we? That's how Satan works. We're inundated over and over in the news. We see, oh, they did a study on this, or a new study shows, or according to recent studies. And it's just, like I said, it's all how Satan tries to use man's wisdom to form a wedge. And so really, my message to you is the only study you should be concerned with or thinking about is this week's Bible study. Isn't that nice? I had such a lovely Bible study last week on my way to some special meeting rounds, and I would just like to share, having been there, according to a recent study, 78% of the people felt so unworthy, and 92% of the people felt like their thoughts had been shared and they didn't have much to add. And 22% of the people spoke on a hymn instead, and 82% of the people go along to do better in the coming days. And so that's just nice. Those are the kinds of studies we should be thinking about. And so we know too for our young folks, our youth, that you have to go to school. We would prefer it if you didn't, but especially for you young ladies, don't take school too seriously. Don't think too hard about it. Just focus on learning how to be a good professing woman. Just learn how to cook and clean and play the piano. And for you young men, you may have to apply yourselves academically, but don't get caught up in any sort of critical thinking or scientific inquiry or anything that would make you question the workers or your place in God's way. So maybe some of those thoughts could just be a discouragement to you, that you could think on them and feed on them and consider them, and just be ones to follow and obey the workers more closely and obediently. And so just remember to like, subscribe, and stay off the internet.